Hello and welcome back to the board. I'm the Gav Major, and this is a review of the Tier 4 Italian premium cruiser, the Genova, available I believe for 6,250 shards as a choice reward during the Light in the Dark event, I guess you could say, for Halloween 2021. Now, this is a Tier 4 and 5 game of Domination and Trident on the enemy team of a Hatsuharu, Japard, Königsberg, a Gorky, a Bedoini, a Leander, Pensacola, a Nine Duke, and a Ranger. And now that's done, obviously I just put out some ranging torps or zoning torps, just a bit of aerodynamic, and that kind of makes sense for this cruiser considering her torpedo reload when we get round to talking about that. So the Genova is a prototype design in the 1920s for a treaty-compliant heavy cruiser for the Italian Navy. Obviously, she never got built or anything like that, but the design philosophy or some of the items taken away from the design did go forward onto design the Zara class heavy cruisers in the 30s. So, opening fire onto a Bedoini. Potentially I could be considering AP, so we might load up AP with this and see where we go. But as always, in this review, in comparison to the Tier 4 Tech Tree cruisers, what we're looking at. Survivability, you have the third highest base HP of 30,100. You do have the joint lowest torpedo reduction of only 7%, but it's worth noting that when it comes to cruisers at Tier 4, quite a lot of them don't have torpedo reduction, so at least you have some torpedo reduction, I guess you could say. When it comes to the armour scheme, it's nothing special, but we'll go back to the port and we'll take a look at it there. Welcome back to the port, taking a look at the armour scheme of the Genova. Well, let's start off with the bow and the stern. We are pretty much covered in 16mm plating above the waterline, as in like the sides of the deck, which basically means it's capable of ricocheting 8-inch AP, but calibers above that will be cutting straight through. So beware of battleships, you are pretty much dinner. Moving on to the superstructure, again this is your typical 13mm plating all over. There obviously are some parts of it which are slightly thicker armoured, but those are usually the command citadel which is on the bridge. So yes, just a general area of the ship which is harvestable to low caliber HE and AP and where you get your fires and things like that. Taking that away, let's have a look at those. Now let's do the upper armoured belt and the upper armoured deck, I guess you say. 16mm again, so again only capable of ricocheting 8-inch AP. So again, very squishy, I guess you could say, when it comes to the top part of the ship. Moving on to the turrets and the barbettes. Barbettes going all the way down to the citadel, which is very good, and the turrets are very heavily armoured. There's no real like weak spot on these. You've got 70 to 150mm of plating, it would appear, although 70mm is down on the barbette really, so for the turrets it's about 100 to 150. Apart from maybe the turret roofs, which look to be 75mm maybe, but again this is just capable of ricocheting all AP, so the turrets generally appear to be quite survivable. Going on to the citadel, it is big, it is above the waterline, and it's probably going to be easy to hit if you're broadside on. So in the Genova, you don't want to be caught broadside on, and you've already seen how squishy the rest of her armour is. So again, maneuverability is going to be something you want to focus on in order to try and avoid those incoming shots from battleships, and you're also going to be wanting to look into maybe keeping at range when playing against enemy battleships to increase that incoming shell time towards your vessel, because if it gets through that and you're not completely perfectly angled with your citadel, it's going to hurt. So that's the crux of it really. I mean, it is very good armour, capable of ricocheting pretty much everything, and it can even resist 8-inch HE shells as well. However, it's all above the waterline, which is again very, very scary when it comes to potential incoming damage. It's not very hidden, let's be honest. Well, that's the armour scheme of the Genova. It's not the best at the tier, I'll give you that, but it's not the worst either, is the best way to put it. It seems to be quite average, would be my best opinion on that. Anyway, let's go back to the port and continue with the game. Welcome back. Well, it looks like the Graf Spee should be more than capable of wrapping up Bedoini, so I might even start making a closing towards the cap. So moving on to artillery. So she's got a trait here, a positive trait I guess you could say, which is big guns, which would make sense because she is one of very few amount of heavy cruisers, or what would be designated as designed for a heavy cruiser, I guess you could say, during the treaty era, where she's equipped with 8-inch guns, the other one being the Fair Attacker, and obviously there is the Hawkins, which I believe is equipped with 7.5-inch guns. So yes, 8-inch guns, 8 number of, in 4 dual gun turrets. We have A turret, B turret super firing up front, and then we have Y turret with X turret super firing at the rear. Now, these do offer you the shortest range of 13.2 kilometers, longest reload time as well, 20 seconds. Third slowest turret traverse speed as well, you're looking at 25.7 seconds per 180 degrees of rotation. So, let's have a look at those shells. Well, you do have the third highest HE shell damage of 2,800 and the third highest fire chance of 14%. You also have the joint highest AP shell damage of 4,700, and we're going to start making an engagement against this Iron Duke. Now, when it comes to the DPMs, obviously that incredibly slow reload speed is really going to be affecting your DPM capability. You're looking at the lowest HE DPM, the lowest fires per minute, and the second worst AP DPM, so it's not exciting, let's be honest. Moving on to the torpedoes, she has 4 dual tube launchers, so we have 2 launchers per side. Now these do have the fastest reload of 47 seconds. Now they also have the lowest damage of 9,067. Second longest range though of 8 kilometers, which is quite nice, but they are also the slowest at doing only 51 knots. But they do have the shortest detection of 1 kilometer, so the chances are that if the enemy is not using sonar or seeing these torpedoes like early via spotter aircraft or other friendly vessels, chances are they're not going to have a lot of time to respond to incoming torpedoes, even though they are quite slow. Manoeuvrability wise, she has the trait fast, which I personally would disagree with. The reason being is she has an average speed of 34.5 knots. It's not exactly above average, I would say. She has the third smallest turning circle though of 660 meters. Also the second worst rudder shift of 8.6 seconds. I think we're getting a bit close enough that we might be able to get some 8-inch AP into the side of that Iron Duke there. Concealment wise, she has the hidden trait, and I'd agree with this. She has the best detectability at the tier of 9.4 kilometers. Ooh, very nice. What we got to deal with in the middle there? Koningsberg. Okay. Now, she also has a detectability by air of 5.6 kilometers and detectability when firing smoke of 5.1 kilometers. Now, interestingly enough, for an Italian cruiser, she does come with sonar. This has a 90-second duration and 180-second reload, but we would detect ships at 3.7 kilometers and torpedoes at 2.7 kilometers. However, she doesn't come with any smoke screens, and she cannot swap her sonar out for a defensive AA consumable. She does have catapult fighters, 3 of, and these have a 100-second duration and an 80-second reload. Oh, Grasp is tidying up quite nicely here. So it's time to start motoring over. It looks like the enemy team has been completely mulched up, probably via very minimal or little effort from myself, so this could be all over and done with very quickly. As always, down in the description will be the modules and the command build. Regarding the command build, I've gone for Sansonetti, and I've focused on like fire chance. The reason being is I'm trying to make the best I can out of my HE. I've also focused on rate of fire via my inspirations and my legendary trait, and I've also focused on manoeuvrability with my latter 2 traits, taking Velocious and Steer Clear. Regarding the modules, I have taken I believe it is aiming systems. There's not really much choice considering she's tier 4, and so it's pretty much aiming systems or something that make your reloading worse but your turret traverse better, which I doubt is really a good choice. Alternatively, you can make your AA guns better or your secondaries better. But it's not necessarily a secondary brawling ship, I would say, and she's not necessarily either a ship where you want to focus on AA. Oh well, there doesn't really seem to be much left of this game. Unfortunately, it seems to be one of those games where it's all gone rather pear-shaped for the enemy team, I guess you could say. Well, I think we'll head on to the northern side of Alpha. There's only an enemy Pensacola left and their carrier. Whether we can find their carrier or not, I don't know. So, I might as well have a brief discussion of what I think of the Genova. Well, she's got a lot of worsts, I guess you could say. And that DPM really can hurt your potential in an engagement. There's not many pluses when it comes to this ship, in all honesty. Her maneuverability is average, I guess you could say, with that average speed and poor rudder shift base. Survivability wise, lots of HP, but not a lot of armour to back it up, unfortunately. Artillery wise, it's nice to have 8-inch guns, but I find that with the AP you usually end up overpenning anything at close range, so you can only really use the AP at medium to long range against enemy cruisers, and against battleships you can use it, I guess you could say. I did consider using the sap skill that you can get with Sansonetti, but I found it just wasn't quite worthwhile in regards to how much damage or damage output I can make with that. Well, there's the Pensacola there, so let's maybe see if we can engage him from here. In regards to concealment, concealment's good, I guess you could say, but then again, the concealment's good because your range is poor. There's not really much else to say. Consumers wise, you got some interesting choices, but it's nothing really that special. Well, there goes the Pensacola, so where has the carrier gone? I'm going to assume that the friendly guidey, it was LT-22 I should say, has RDF and has generally picked up the location of the enemy carrier. It's really interesting to note that she's actually quite a large ship, so I'm surprised she has quite a reasonable turning circle. Yeah, so overall my opinion or my thoughts on the Genova is probably not completely worthwhile. Maybe as a collector's item, or if you are interested in the Italian Navy. Personally, I probably will be going for her, but she's one of those where she's not a strong ship. She's certainly different, I will give her that, but there isn't really much. Well, it's very easy to be different at tier 4 for a heavy cruiser because of the very large lack of heavy cruisers at the tier. Oh well, unless anything interesting happens, we're going to 4 times speed and a bit of Colonel Bogey's March. Well, welcome back. Grasberg got a Kraken, so I'm glad for that. I did note he was close to a Kraken, so I definitely didn't want to be taking the Ranger at the end. 39,000 damage, it's not great, but then again, I'm recording live, and at the end of the day, I like to do live reviews where I show like a cross-section of my gameplay, so there's good games and there's bad games, but it is a victory at the end of the day. 3 citadels on the broadside Pensacola there, no kills, but 44 hits on target, a capture, assisted in capture, and a shot down an aircraft as well. Team-wise, coming 4th with that performance, which is rather amusing. I expected worse, but at least we can walk away in the upper half of the table, I guess you could say. Grasberg definitely doing some work there and getting his Kraken unleashed, very nice. Company-wise, walking away with a total profit of 134,000 credits after a ship service cost of 17,000 credits, obviously with a premium account in this case. So all in all, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's a tier 4 ship at the end of the day, and I hope you appreciate my opinions on her, and don't crucify me down in the comments. If you did enjoy this, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe down in the description, as I've already let you know, the command build and the modules, along with the link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. Patreon is a non-monetized channel, and also the email address for the channel if you want to send any of your own game captures for the community spotlight video. And one thing I wanted to say is thank you to all the subscribers, and also thank you to all the patrons whose lovely names will be appearing on the end screen. Until next time, I'm the Gaff Major, and back to the port.
Hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the galloping Major. Bumpity, 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 bump. Get out of the way there, you fellows, unless you want me to run you down. I guess this is the life. Now, hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the galloping Major.